Thank you, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. How are you all doing? Hope you're having a great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. How are you all doing? Hope you're having a great time. I'm happy to be here today. By the way, I'm Priyanka Neelakrishnan, Product Line Manager at Palo Alto Networks. Today, I'm here to talk about data security for AI applications. A little bit about myself. My corporate career started at Ericsson, working on segment routing, helping customers move from traditional to software-defined networks. My master's thesis was in SDN. Then my curiosity in application level security led me to Symantec Enterprise Division, now Broadcom. So there at Symantec, I was in the data security space, specifically data loss prevention for on-prem, hybrid, and cloud. I had the opportunity to conceptualize and launch several first-to-market solutions for large enterprises. Then my love for cybersecurity and a growing need to be working for a company fully dedicated to cybersecurity pulled me towards Palo Alto Networks in early 2021. Here at Palo, I've had the freedom to strategize, ideate, and bring to market some effective data at rest and inline security solutions with more focus around SaaS security. All throughout, since my Symantec times, I've been using AI in one form or the other in the solutions I've built, creating competitive advantage. Now, coming to our agenda, we'll start off by talking about the significance of data security in the AI era and why it becomes so crucial for all of us. And I'll share a recent real-world example of an AI data theft that really highlights the risks organizations are facing today. And after that, we'll discuss about the critical data risks in AI systems. You know, those unique vulnerabilities that come with using AI technologies. Then, next up, we'll tackle what needs to be done, where I'll outline some essential strategies to manage data securely. Then, we'll explore a few concrete solutions on how you can protect your AI data sets and models. Finally, we'll wrap things up with future trends and conclusions. Sounds good? Awesome. Let's get started. Around 43% of businesses worldwide now rely on some form of AI. This rapid adoption and advancement of artificial intelligence has introduced a host of new cybersecurity challenges that organizations must navigate. According to a 2023 report from Cybersecurity Ventures, it stated that cybercrime's cost is projected to reach a whopping $10.5 trillion by 2025, with AI-driven data security being increasingly adopted. Now it is like back in 2015, if you see, there was about the recorded $3 trillion. So it's such a substantial leap from that. As AI systems grow more sophisticated, we are not only putting it in the hands of good actors, but also empowering cyber criminals to execute advanced attacks. As a result, organizations are facing an urgent need to adapt their cybersecurity challenges to keep pace with AI advancement. So here I've listed 4 of them, like bigger the data, bigger the target. So according to a study conducted by IDC and MIT, in the world data in 2018 was 33 zettabytes, and it's projected to grow to 175 zettabytes by 2025. So just imagine the scale of data growth. As data grows, the attack surface grows, and so is the risk of cyber threat. And these AI applications, they consume data, and most of them are, as you all know, proprietary data like financial information, business intelligence, and your own PII information. So this is a prime target for adversaries, right? So without app-type security measures, even a single vulnerability in how the data is stored, transferred, or processed is not only going to affect the integrity of the models, but the trust and the competitive advantage that you have built working hard. Now, guard the goal. What is goal here? The crown jewel, right? So you have all the data, and then you have the curated data, which is going to be fed to the model. So that is that sensitive data, which is the backbone of AI models. So that's what I'm referring to as gold here. These are the crown jewels, which is going to create a model, right? From the crown jewels, so it's not only the privacy breach we are talking about, right? We are also talking about model inversion attacks, wherein it's like from the sensitive data that's used to build the model, you can get to the model, you can replicate the model, and from the model you can get back to that sensitive data as well. Then the AI triple threat. So what do I mean by triple threat? It's again fundamentally like founded by the data. So the accuracy and the reliability of an AI system primarily depends upon the quality of the data it's trained upon, right? So if the integrity of the data, let's say the data that is used to build this model is manipulated, then obviously the output is going to be flawed. So similarly, next coming to the privacy bit. So we have had a recent case study wherein it's a famous messaging channel. So they had their private channel and as well as the public channel. So this model was spitting out the details from the private channel. So that's the risk, privacy risk. Then the third one is ethics. Because of the algorithmic bias, it's a huge thing nowadays, wherein the model is being being discriminatory to one segment of the society or one side of specific products which it's got awareness into, right? That's the ethical issue. Then lock it down. So as an organization, small, medium or large, you need to know where all these AI models are being deployed and ensure effective guardrails are in place. So what do I mean by that? You need to have robust security measures so that the user interactions that happens with the model does not have this model evolved in a wrong direction. So that's what I mean by lock it down. Next. Now this is the recent real world example of AI data theft. It happened in 2023 in a financial institution. I don't want to name the organization. So what happened was these attackers did a detailed research on this AI-driven platform. It's basically used for financial forecasting and prediction. And they found the vulnerability in how the data was handled and then the machine learning model interfaces. Then what they did, they poisoned the data. How? That's the data that's used to feed the model. So that's what we refer to as guard the gold. The gold is becoming impure here, right? So now, because of this data poisoning, the model output is subpar, is not giving the right output. Not only that, after manipulating this model, look at how sophisticated this attack is becoming. After manipulating the model, these people, they got access, unauthorized access to the customer data and transaction details. How? When the model is operationalized, that's when the model is interacting with. From here we have training data, and while the user is interacting, we have user information, and then the model is going to the database and fetching the user information. So now they have got unauthorized access into the transactional details and customer data. Then after a while, security teams found that this has happened, and they initiated the incident response plan where they had to isolate the systems and remove the malicious data that was fed to the model. So overall, this damage costed them $75 million. It's a magnitude higher than an average data breach that happens. Okay. So these are critical data risks in AI systems. So I've listed down a few of the risks in the corner. So let's talk about those risks, and then let's look at where does this risk specifically apply in which phase of an AI model, right? An AI system. So what is data poisoning? As we initially talked about, data poisoning is making the gold impure, which is nothing but you're corrupting the data which is used for building the model. Data breach is removing the sensitive data. Sensitive data exploitation is data breach. Privacy violation, you're killing the privacy, you're getting in there. That's self-explanatory. Algorithmic bias is the algorithm that is used in the AI model is being discriminatory. And adversarial attacks, it's like you're curating the input so that the model is deceived to produce incorrect output. It's like this is where prompt injection attacks, these things come into play. Model inversion is from the model, you're reverse engineering it to get to the sensitive data. Unauthorized model access is your access, it's like access privilege management. So privilege has to be properly managed. And finally, lack of transparency. So with AI, it's both a blessing and a curse. Blessing because with AI, we are not playing in the realms of what's possible. We are exploring what's imaginable. At the same time, that's where this lack of transparency, this black boxy thing comes into the picture. Right? Okay, let's see where these risks apply in an AI system. So in the data gathering phase, that's where all the data is in there. So in the data gathering, can you say like which of the risks could be applied on the data gathering phase? Data poisoning, what about it? Data poisoning. Yes, so data poisoning is one of it that would happen here. That's just before the model training. Data breach is possible in the data gathering phase. Then if you go into the training model and testing model phase, that's where algorithmic bias, model inversion, unauthorized model access comes into the picture. Then if you come into user interaction side, then here you will have privacy violation, adversarial attacks, that is you're interacting with the model and changing the model behavior. You're evolving the model in the wrong direction. Then unauthorized model inversion is also possible if you try harder from the user interactions side. All right. Now, what needs to be done? So we have to start with proper AI data governance. Let me tell you first up, it's not going to be a done and dusted job. It's going to be an ongoing process. We need to understand and accept that first. Investment has to come right, that's why. So data quality management is the first thing. So here we need to make sure the data that is put in for the training data set is accurate, complete, and reliable. Data privacy and security, we need to invest in security there to make sure the security measures are rightly put in place, like encryption and access control, for example. Then data stewardship, like you need to assign roles and responsibilities for respective teams for data management. That's very important. Then compliance with regulations. It's human tendency. Oftentimes, we would like to take shortcuts so that we get the job done, or the model is going to be amazingly producing the output that I desire. It's going to wow my audience. So do not take that shortcut. Again, do not take that shortcut. Please make sure that you're adhering to the rules and regulations, because if you're focusing on the short term, you're losing a lot more in the medium and long term. Right? That's with compliance regulations. Bias and fairness monitoring, there needs to be a system for continuously checking the bias and fairness. We need to have metrics and continuously check on top of them. Then ethical data usage. We need to have proper guidelines and principles in place. We need to get the consent from the respective people before using their data, and also make sure wherever is necessary, we need to get that anonymization done. Okay? So with responsible AI adoption and ensuring that we are not only focusing on short-term goals and profit in mind, we have to think about long-term. With that, you can have your business run in a sustainable manner. Right? Now, let's look at the solutions. Some of the concrete solutions for protecting your AI data sets and models. First up is data encryption. Ensure that the training data set that you use is properly encrypted, both at rest and while in transit. Then differential privacy. So this is where you add noise to the training data set so that they cannot reverse engineer. Then secure multi-party computation. So here you are building an AI model by allowing multiple parties to be providing the input training data set in a secure manner, which is encrypted. Then homomorphic encryption. So this is primarily used in healthcare. Secure multi-party is generally used for fraud detection and stuff, where you need a collective intelligence in that specific sector. So homomorphic encryption is used in healthcare, where you do not want, for HIPAA reasons, you do not want to use the customers or the patient information. So here the encrypted data is fed to the model and the model is built on the encrypted data. You are not decrypting it. Then adversarial attack defense. It's a good one. It's like you are torturing the model and making sure that it does not spit out the secret whatever happens. So you are making the model self-dependent. So we are training the model to defend itself. It's like pen test in software. Then model access control. Model access control. It's a whole big topic by itself. So here we need to make sure the basic sanity like role-based access control, MFA, and you can do anomaly detection a lot more with role-based access control. You need to make sure the access, only the right access is provided. This is where zero trust and all that comes in the picture. Then finally, watermarking and auditing. So watermarking the model, it's like adding a unique identifier to the model, so that even when the model is stolen, you know where the model is coming from. Then auditing, we need to have regular auditing to ensure the accuracy of the models and as well as to make sure the performance is better and you're complying with the regulations that you are supposed to be complying. For example, if you're in the financial sector, FISMA, FINRA, these type of compliance. If you are in healthcare, HIPAA, these are the compliance you need to make sure you're adhering to. All right. So coming to the future trends and conclusions. So here, of course, AI application usage is going to grow. What I anticipate is, because my background is in SaaS, I think most of the SaaS applications could stay longer if they become data agents, right? And increase usage of AI in cybersecurity. It's like using AI to fight AI. Those are the things that is going to grow more. And standards are going to be, the regulations are going to be evolving. We have seen recently NIST doing that. Similarly, other regulations will also evolve around AI. Then collaboration in education, so that the future generation knows how it is done. That's very important. It's not enough that we are progressing. We need to make sure our future generation is also well equipped to deal with AI-related stuff. So, if there is one crucial takeaway from my presentation today, it's this. Cybersecurity must be top priority for all organizations, especially small and medium businesses. In an era where AI amplifies the risk of cybercrime, by protecting your business, you're not only safeguarding your assets, but securing the future of the entire ecosystem around it. Because the impact of cyber threats can topple nations and it could disrupt lives, which we have seen over and over again. That's why I'm someone who deeply believes that proactive security is the way to go. Therefore, by focusing on the right things at the right time, we will be able to build a safer digital future for everyone where innovation continues to thrive. Thank you, everybody. Any questions? All right. Oh, please.
How do you suggest like a early stage startup kind of which order we should follow? Like we cannot spend like 6 months on building a proactive system.
Absolutely. I understand. Proactive system for an early stage startup is not right away feasible. But if you see, large enterprises are taking a different approach in getting AI, whether they are allowing AI into their organization or not. But small and medium businesses, I've had a conversation with some of the companies we are talking about for acquisition, wherein they are using AI to build the code. Like startups are doing that a lot more. So if we are not focusing on cybersecurity, you don't have to go to the level of proactive security, but there needs to be someone in there to help you with what minimum level of cybersecurity has to be there in any AI system you are touching. As I said, it's not going to only affect your startup or your business, it's going to affect everybody who's surrounding that. The entire ecosystem is at play. So it's like a noble cause. By focusing on cybersecurity, minimally you can still make profit because it's going to help you in the long run. It's going to build trust with your customers. It's like a trademark, like it's like a thing, like where you can say that, hey, we have done the right things in the right way, so that once the foundation is stronger, you can build the building to however you want. So basically, cybersecurity is helping you and your startup set the foundation right for your sustained business growth. That's all I can say. Anything else? Yes, please. Yeah, that's for the future, yes.
Oh, that's for the future. So
Yes.
Palo Alto Network don't have that feature.
No, Palo Alto Networks, if you want to talk about the company, yes. There are some AI technologies that we have implemented wherein we are in a better state to find the zero-day threats. You know, essentially we want to find it and neutralize it then and there. So we cannot avoid it totally. So we need, as soon as we find it, how soon you're detecting it. That's the paramount thing.
Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you so much.